the smartest giant in town. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched-up gown. "I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town," he said sadly. There he is. Very, very scruffy. But one day, George noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes. So he thought, a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds up the sides, and a pair of smart, shiny shoes. Now, I'm the smartest giant in town, he said proudly. Let me see all your proud faces. Brilliant. There we go. Can you see the shop where he went to go and buy all the clothes? He's a bit too big to get into the door, so he's just poking his nose through. And he's deciding what to buy. And he decides he's going to buy a nice smart shirt, some trousers, a stripy tie, a belt, some socks with diamonds up the sides, and some shoes. And he's very, very proud because he thinks he's the smartest giant in town. I think he is too. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffing sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long. Can I see all your long necks? Really stretch your neck up. Brilliant. It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf." You see the giraffe? Oh, he's very, very sad. Even the giant has a very, very sad face. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said, as he wound it round and round and round the giraffe's neck. It made a wonderful scarf. "Thank you," said the giraffe. There he is with his amazing tie/scarf. As George strode towards home, he sang to himself. "My tie's a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town." Shall we say that all together if you can remember to go along with me? My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. Well done. George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "My sail," said the goat. "It blew away in a storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat." There is the goat with the boat. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his new white shirt. "It kept coming untucked anyway," he said as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. "It made a magnificent sail." "Thank you," said the goat. George strode on singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. You ready to say it all together? 1, 2, 3. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. George came to a tiny ruined house. Besides the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. Oh dear, they were all squeaking. Ooh, can I hear your squeaky voices, like little mice? Well done. What's the matter? Asked George. It's our house, squeaked the mother mouse. It burned down, and now I have nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house. Oh dear, can I see all your shocked faces? Can you imagine if that was your house? If you were that mouse and your house burnt down? Oh dear. Well done. Good shocked faces. Cheer up, said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. It was giving me blisters anyway, he said, as the mouse and her babies scrambled inside. The shoe made a perfect home for them. Thank you, they squeaked. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. He's very proud of himself. George came to a campsite. Beside a tent stood a fox who was crying. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my sleeping bag, said the fox. I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag. Oh dear. There's a lot of sad animals in this story. But then it's really kind and really good because George, the giant, helps them out. He's very, very kind. Cheer up, said George, and he took off one of his socks with diamonds up the sides. It was tickling my toes anyway, he said, as the fox snuggled into it. It made a very fine sleeping bag. Thank you, said the fox. George hopped on, singing to himself. Should we try and do it together? My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. George came to a big squelchy bog. Besides the bog stood a dog who was howling. What's the matter? Asked George. It's this bog, said the dog. And he did some barking wolf noises like a dog. I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path. Oh, can you imagine getting stuck in a bog? Ooh, wouldn't be very nice. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his smart new belt. It was squashing my tummy anyway, he said, as he laid it down over the bog. It made an excellent path. Thank you, said the dog. The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is the house for a little white mouse. And my sock is a bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. But, he's starting to hop. What's starting to happen to his trousers? He doesn't have a belt anymore. Oh dear. Down fell his trousers. Dear me, my trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town. Suddenly, George felt very sad and shivery and not at all smart. Oh dear. He stood on one foot and thought, I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes. He decided that he would turn round and hopped all the way back to the shop. What's going to happen to George? But when he got there, it was closed. Oh no, said George. He sank down onto the doorstep and a tear ran down his nose. He felt as sad as all the animals that he had met on his way home. Then out of the corner of his eye, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out of the top. George took a closer look. My gown, he yelled. My dear old gown and sandals. George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. I'm the coziest giant in town, he cried, and he danced back home along the road. You give yourself a nice hug when you feel all nice and cozy and snug. There he is. Outside his front door stood all the animals he had helped. They were carrying an enormous present. Come on, George, they said. Open it. George untied the ribbon, and inside was a beautiful gold paper crown and a card. Look inside the card, George, said the animals. George put the crown on his head and opened the card. Inside it said, your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. Your shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. Your shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with the sandals and gown of the kindest giant in town. And that is the end of our story.